one of the things he said was, since older generations appear to be incapable of leading and making changes that our culture demands, it will ultimately be up to you. The future of the United States of America depends on you. I know this is a huge undertaking, but it is necessary and we need your help. What changes do you think students can make across the country, and what actions should be taken to get them done, as far as like in relations to this racial injustice that we have going on?
It's a it's a heavy question. Um, I mean, there's an incredible amount of work to do, and I felt kind of compelled to share something with my students on Google Classroom. Like that was never intended to see, to end up on Twitter, to end up on anybody's feed. I mean, I guess I'm flattered that it did, and it received some kind of like positive reaction, but that was really just a message that I wanted to share with my students who I had this year, because I teach sociology, and a lot of the themes in my course surround issues of racism, issues of gender, social class, and so on. So I just kind of felt like it would be inappropriate for me to remain silent and not at least address what's going on in the world. More of like a learning experience to try and remind my students of some of the concepts that we covered in my class, having this sociological imagination and understanding that there are these bigger social issues that have a direct impact on people's personal lives. So, that was really kind of the motivation behind posting that. But it was also in many ways sort of a call for help from, the younger generation to hopefully eventually step into the world of education, because we don't really get, the diverse perspectives in public education, and there's probably a litany of reasons why that is, but I think a lot about my time as a student growing up in Lowell, and I couldn't remember ever having a minority teacher. All of my teachers were white, and it made me think about my minority students, my Black students, Asian, Hispanic students. Like they could go through the entire school system only being taught by white teachers, and not getting that sort of that more diverse perspective. So think about like Black students always having white teachers all the way through their public school experience, but also think about white students not having minority teachers to kind of give them a different perspective, or to have some kind of positive interaction with somebody from a different race, or looking up to somebody of a different race as like a person to admire or to be a role model. So and I have some thoughts on why we only have white teachers, and I think that part of it is the experience that kids have going through a public school system. If you always have white teachers, right? Like I can imagine that sort of eliminates going into education as a viable career option, right? Because all your teachers are white. This must be a white job,
Right.
and so I think, I mean, I guess I have no data to back this up, but like, it's not that much of a leap to imagine that it might, seeing all of your teachers being white might discourage you if you're a person of color, if you're a minority, a Black, Asian, or Hispanic person, from even pursuing that as a career option. Now, in terms of the racial tension and discord, I'm not saying this could fix it, but I imagine that like it would be impactful if we had a more diverse faculty and staff, and students were interacting, with teachers who were of a different race than them, and that I can't say it would make a difference, but I'd like to think that it could have an impact on some of the ways that we perceive race in America. I'm not sure if that makes sense at all, but
Definitely, yeah.